Order the Torch Lake Township regular board meeting of March 19th at 7 p.m. Sharon, will you lead the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will forego reading our housekeeping items. We ought to have that pretty well memorized. So jumping in, we'll start with the approval of minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve. The first one will be the regular board meeting of February 20th. Any comments, changes? Sharon?
I have some typographical ones,
Okay,
name spellings primarily.
all right.
This person is referenced in 2 areas. Dina, her last name is spelled Jerdee, and not Jarvis.
Okay,
And that's in number 3 and 5-3.
Say her last name again.
Jerdee. Number 4 on the line should be Donna, not Don.
okay,
And then number D1 should be hiring of Molly, not Molly.
all right. Anyone else?
And then I'm not done yet.
Oh. Oh,
And then at the no further business, the meeting adjourned at 8:25.
all right. Now are you done?
I am.
Anybody else, any comments?
At what time?
8:25.
25.
Where is that? That's missing?
Second page.
Yeah,
Down at the
8:25.
bottom, very bottom,
Very bottom.
where it says adjourn 8:20.
Oh, you didn't put the date in there. I'm sorry. Okay. 8:45,
25.
25. Thank you. Okay.
Those are my corrections.
Anyone else have any changes? If not, then I will make the motion to approve the February 2024 regular board meeting minutes with changes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Alan. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Second set of minutes relate to the budget public hearing of March 12th, 2024. Thank you, Sharon, for putting those together for us.
You're welcome. I gotta find what I did with mine. Oh, right here in front of me.
Very nice. I have nothing.
Find any mistakes in your own minutes?
She spent a lot of time double checking it, I guarantee you. All right, I make the motion to approve the March 12th, 2024 budget public hearing minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. It is moved and seconded to approve the budget public hearing meeting of March 12th, 2024. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Next item, third set. Are there any changes to the minutes to the special board meeting of March 15th, 2024, which was for approval of a resolution supporting the submission of a PAR grant for the fire department?
I have no changes.
I have none.
I'll make the motion to approve.
All right, thank you. I'll second it. It is moved and seconded to approve the special board meeting of March 15th, 2024. Any discussion regarding the motion? Hearing
Just-
none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. I started, go ahead. I started to say, and the submission of the grant was submitted, so,
All right, well,
thank you, Ted.
we'll wait to see if we get anything.
Mhm.
All right.
Did we finish voting and all of that?
Yes.
Okay. Kiddo?
Next item is correspondence and announcements.
I have some correspondence and announcements.
All right.
The first one say, don't forget, because I've forgotten at one or two board meetings now. One of our EMS people listens to Big Country 102.9, and they have a deal where you can nominate people, First Responder Friday, they call it. And so far, we've had two of our people been announced on the air as being part of First Responder Friday. And I believe Shauna was the second one, and Mr. Theodore was the first. So did you not know that, Theodore? Huh? Well, so with a little help from our friends back in the EMS department, we were trying to figure out how to share this information. And I think it was just decided that when we get these, because they're nice and colorful, they're pretty, to just hang them on their lockers back there or something, just to let them know that people are thinking of them and thinking of them as first responders. So far we've had two. So keep your eyes peeled. We may have more soon. You never know.
Ears for the radio.
What's that?
Ears for the radio.
Yes, there you go. Ears.
All right. What else
Hang
do you
on,
have?
yeah, what else do I have? I am sharing with the board a letter it was a letter I received from the Economic Development Corporation of Antrim County. I put a copy of it on your desk, dated March 13th. And basically, the mission of the Economic Development Corps is to retain, expand, and promote countywide economic growth and stability. And right now, they are looking to identify and inventory potential sites for redevelopment. And so they want to come up with a public presentation to local units of government. And last month, they made a unanimous approval to contact DDAs, chambers, local units of government, asking for their input and information regarding potential commercial, industrial, and housing developments. So I think the fact we've talked about, I hear it talked about that, we just don't have a lot of suitable housing in Torch Lake Township, Antrim County, let alone surrounding areas, that what we have is expensive. It would be nice if we could look into this and see what the Economic Development Corporation has in store for us.
You know what the DDAs are, don't you?
Pardon?
You know what the DDAs are?
Do I know what the DDAs are? Oh, no. tell me what a DDA
It's
is.
downtown development authorities. We don't have a downtown development authority, nor we have a chambers, so.
But they made the motion to contact them.
Right. But I'm
So
just
like
asking if
Traverse
you
City
knew it.
may have one, I don't know. But the idea is to get local units of government working with the other units to get the two together with their ideas for housing for the area, which is a good deal. And then I did give you an addendum for expenditures this month.
We'll put that with
Yep.
the consent.
Just making sure you got that.
Yeah.
And then if anyone's interested in running for any township offices, to be on the August ballot is the first one coming up. And there's a deadline. Let's see, deadline for candidates. Oh, so I gave that to you, Bob, telling you the candidates, but also the proposals,
Is that the
the
April
dates.
23rd?
The dates, well, one of them was, I gave you 4 dates. 2 had to do with candidates and 2 had to do with ballot issues. So you
Right.
had asked me,
Yeah, I got that.
okay, so we want to keep a close eye on that. Anyway, I have a neat little book, if anyone's interested. We
And there
have all
was-
the forms.
And I also typed up a letter at the annual meeting and put it on the back table for everybody
Okay,
too.
good,
And it has a
Good,
lot of
good.
descriptions, and you have a copy of that also.
okay, that's good. I think my next hurrah
You're welcome.
is FOIA, so go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Next item, approval of the agenda. Are there any changes? If not, then I make the motion that we accept the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded that the agenda is accepted as presented. Any questions on the agenda, on the discussion related to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next item, citizen comment. Any comments from our citizens?
I would just like to point out that I got 2 emails or text messages from Jairus Rubin saying that he won't be able to make it for the meeting tonight. If there are any questions or concerns, please let him know. And the second one, our sheriff was not feeling the greatest and will not be attending tonight's meeting, and he's said, so sorry.
All right. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Anyone wish to pull any of the reports?
I don't.
All right. Anyone? If not, then by consent, we accept the reports.
Could I ask a question on fire?
Pull it out?
I don't need to pull out the report, but I had a question on fire. Maybe I would wait till fire budget. How's that? Wait till fire budget and I can ask the question.
All right.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Well, one thing I wondered is, just as before Bob was elected, we had a program going with we began a program with Elk Rapids in which we were even going to do some joint training. And I think there was even a building involved or something. And did any of that ever go anywhere?
It did, and it
Elk Rapids
ceased.
Fire Department and us?
It did, and then it ceased after a couple of years. Correct, Ted? Yeah, it was used and it started. But-
So Ted, we're not doing that anymore? You are having joint meetings with them or training?
Yes.
Yes, we did. We had a joint department. There are automatic mutual aid partners like Milton Township. So we try to have at least 2 of them a year to train between the departments.
Okay,
The training facility is still open there in Elk Rapids, but that's utilizing that depends upon the weather, because it's really not plowed out too much in the winter time. And in the spring, it's muddy, and and you bury a truck back there. We lost a couple of loaders back there because they got buried with. We used to pile weeds back there at one time from the fall weed pickup, but, yeah, it's open, there's a combination, all three fire departments have a combination of that gate, so during the warmer months, it was more than welcome.
Where's it located?
It's at the wastewater treatment plant in El Paradis, behind it.
Okay. Okay, I just wondered, thought came into my mind, we're looking at our budget, and that brought that thought up. So we are still doing training with Elk Rapids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, if no other comments, we'll move on to special reports. Jason? I think there was no meeting again, right?
Oh, there was, but I wasn't there. I was in Florida.
Yep, and they didn't have a quorum. Big meeting will be this coming Monday. So hopefully people will come out to it. There will be 2 special use permits, I think, coming up. One down in Torch Lake Village, and the other one is up in Eastport Village. So hopefully people will come out to that meeting. Special reports. We've ended February, we're pretty favorable to budget by $492,000 and the prior year by $457,000. That was primarily due to the increased millages we got from the fire and ambulance, and versus the budget, the fire tanker was delayed. The delivery now is coming in September of 2024. And so we didn't have to kick out $351,000. So anybody have any questions on the budget? I put packages at the back, and we have the budget package and annual meeting items at the township. You can come and pick them up anytime.
We skipped over for you.
I'm sorry?
We skipped over for you.
All right. Kath, any FOIAs?
FOIA. I've had 2 FOIAs come in and go back out again. One was denied by recommendation of the Bureau of Elections. People are getting so technical about what they're asking for, and they can't access software or have any way to get into or change or look at software. So both requests were denied. So we're all set right there.
All right.
Yay.
Can you be more detailed on that, Kathy?
I can give you more.
What does it mean? They were trying to get at our software?
They want reports. No, Alan, I'm not going to be able to without looking at it. But I can look at it.
But it was something that we would have to look up, or they could not look up?
It's something that they would not be allowed to have access to. Nobody would be allowed to have access to what they were asking
This is,
for.
Be like personnel records or things like that?
No, it wasn't about that.
it was elections, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it was
It was
election
years old.
related.
It's years old.
Okay, all right, just something we just can't provide it, that's fine.
Well, you could come in and
Yeah.
Yeah, I
ask
can look at it,
her.
it's fine, I just didn't know what the problem was.
I can't think now.
Okay,
It's fine.
I'll look at it.
It's all right. All right, moving on then. We have no old business. And we have 8 items for new business. The first couple of items, well, 2 out of the 3 are things that we handled at the annual meeting. We have 4 motions related to the budget resolutions for the salaries of elected officials as approved by the electors at the annual meeting held on March 12th, 2024. I will make the motion for each of these items. Any discussion on Resolution 2024-01, supervisor salary that the electors approved at that annual meeting held on March 12th, 2024, with a salary of $34,000 for the fiscal year 2024-25. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, would you do a roll call
Roll
vote,
call
please?
Alan,
Yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Kathy, yes, and Bob, yes.
Yes.
May I ask a generic question? Did any of those numbers get changed at the annual meeting?
None.
No.
Thank you.
Item 1B, any discussion on Resolution 2023-02, clerk salary for $31,000 that the electors approved at the annual meeting held on March 12th, 2024.
Okay, 20,
You said 20,
24.
2023.
Yeah.
Bob.
Oh, sorry, 2024-02.
02.
There's a lot of dates I have to catch. All right, hearing none, I make the motion to approve Resolution 2024-02, establishing the clerk salary at $31,000 for the fiscal year 2024-25. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Kathy will do another roll call vote, please.
Okay, Jason,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
Kathy, yes, Bob,
Yes.
Alan,
yes,
that one is passed 5-0.
You know when you're ready.
Mhm.
All right. Any discussion on Resolution 2024-03, treasurer's salary that the electors approved at the annual meeting held on March 12th, 2024, at a rate of $34,000 for the fiscal year of 2024-25? Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Jason. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, would you do a roll call vote,
I
please?
will. Sharon,
Yes.
Kathy says yes, Bob,
Yes?
Alan,
yes,
and Jason.
Yes.
Another one approved, 5-0.
All right. Let me know you're ready.
Go.
Any discussion on Resolution 2024-04, trustee salary that the electors approved at the annual meeting? Hearing none, I make the motion to approve Resolution 2024-04, establishing the trustee salary at $6,000 for the fiscal year 2024-25. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sharon. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, please conduct the roll call vote.
Yes, Sharon. Kathy, yes, Bob,
Yes?
Alan,
yes,
Jason.
Yes.
Motion approved, 5-0.
All right. Moving on, item number 2. We had a discussion board at our last meeting regarding a change to the pay schedule we had for purposes of increasing the cross-trained category. We did not define that number, and therefore I am proposing going from $20 to $22. I'm open for a discussion on that business item.
I agree. It's for the cross, not the crossed, the cross,
I'm sorry?
just to take the ED off of there.
Okay,
Um,
that was a pronunciation problem.
Oh. I totally agree with it. I have no problem with that.
All right,
How do we use cross-train? It's only on,
We have two
we have
currently.
someone on Fridays when we don't have coverage. So we always have that assistance. It was meant originally to help the ambulance people move people around.
We're always covered, Alan.
And so that's but during the week, we have Ted here, and we have Fridays clear. What happens on Saturday and Sunday? Go ahead.
There's no cross-trained on Saturday, Sunday.
If they need assistance,
You have enough people out. I got it.
if they need assistance, they'll call us and try.
Yeah, gotcha. I gotcha. Thank you. Yep, that's good. I just have not thought about it in a while. I'm okay with it, with you, $22.
all right. Any other comments? If not, I will make the motion to approve the proposed amending. I did, I said any other comments? You were sleeping.
No, I wasn't. I
He's
waited for you to
eating.
ask me.
You were chewing is what you were doing.
was sitting there
I was waiting here.
You had your mouth full.
Skipped
of
right
food.
over
Come
me.
on. Can I make the motion now?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. I make the motion to approve. Notice what happens when there's no audience. I mean, it's totally out of control.
It's like I'm invisible.
I make the motion to approve the proposed amending of the Torch Lake Township pay schedule for the fiscal year 2024-2025 as approved by the board on January 16th of 2024 to revise the pay for the cross-train category from $20 to $22. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. The motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, I will. Alan,
Yes,
Kathy. Yes. Sharon,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes 4-0. Oh, Jason?
Yes. Well, you're getting in on it too there, huh, Kathy?
Why not? That one passes 5-0.
All right, board, next item was also covered at our budget meeting.
All tax
We
levy.
have 6 motions related to the approval of the various fund budgets for the fiscal year 2024-2025. Last year, the board approved a single motion covering all tax levy and non-tax levy budgets rather than passing individual motions for each budget. Would the board agree to do the same process at this meeting? Any objections?
I object. I just as soon see it broken down for easeability at the county level and the county treasurer and the equalization departments to look at it because of the splits in there.
That's fine.
clarify that for me, Sharon.
Rather than doing it in all one, I rather see each one individually. The taxing authorities at the county departments would be able to see it more clearly than having it in one big lump.
But, well, what we did last year was to make the motion to pass it, and then I read each of the 6 items.
Okay, as long as they're in the minutes,
Yeah, that's.
that
fine.
way, showing them individually.
Yep, you and I reviewed the wording on it.
Okay,
All right, so I will make the motion to approve all tax levy and non-tax levy budgets as follows. Motion to approve the fire fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 1.75 mil, split by 1 mil for operational expenses and 0.85 mil for capital budget. Motion to approve the road fund budget with a tax levy of 1 mil, operational budget. Motion to approve the ambulance fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 2.25 mil, with 2.25 mil split 1.85 mil for operational budget and 0.4 mil for capital budget. Motion to approve the general fund of 1 mil with 1 mil operational budget. Motion to approve the liquor fund budget as prepared. Motion to approve the Traverse Bay Nature Preserve Fund budget as prepared. Motion to approve the cemetery fund budget as prepared. The motion will be by myself. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sharon. Any questions?
The capital end of this is basically the vehicles, is that correct?
Capital are the vehicles for the fire and for the ambulance, yes.
And we did, this is not, we didn't have a capital budget with regard to the improvement of the South Station, is that correct?
No, that was part of the operation cost.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hearing none. Kathy, would you have a roll call vote, please?
Well, Bob first.
Yes?
Alan?
Yes,
Kathy, yes. Sharon, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. And Jason?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0.
All right.
Didn't even get a picture?
I'm sorry?
No pictures?
No pictures.
Of the
of
new ambulance?
We can take you out back for it's the
It's
exact same
thing?
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, move on to the next item. Item 4 is purchase of a new ambulance. As discussed at the budget hearing, I would like your approval to order the second ambulance for delivery in July of 2026 at a cost of $355,223 with a required deposit of $33,550. We will currently pay off the most recent purchase in early 2025 within the 25-26 capital taxes. We will be able to pay off the second ambulance in early 2027 with their capital tax account. Now,
Did you mean to say 2026?
yeah,
Mine
Yes.
says 2025.
Kathy?
Delivery of July of 2025 is what mine says.
yeah, we changed that
Okay.
because of cash flow. I put a financial page together. There's a financial page in the back if you guys want to see it. Basically, for the ambulance, we'll be fine. A lot of numbers on this page, but the idea was to try to figure out when we get down to 25-26, which is the bottom box, you will start seeing that operating expenses for this year, we're looking at roughly 654, I think was what we did through the 23-24 year. Looking ahead, based on the increases in the salary, it's going to be close to 877,000. And our revenue is only going to be 662. So the idea here is laying out that when we get to the fiscal year 25-26, we will pretty much go through most of the fund on an operational basis, and therefore, as I put in my comments, we'll be at almost $925,000 operationally in the 25-26 calendar year. And that's just an estimate. And we'll end up with roughly $144,000 left in the fund, but we will have paid off all of the ambulances. And therefore, what we will need to do is evaluate the cost of a future set of ambulances, which go out 20 years. And if you just assume a 5% increase off of $355,000 for 20 years, you're pretty close to $900,000. So it's a big number. So we got to be careful on what we back it down by. If we drop it to say 1/10 of a mil and move the other 3/10 up into operations, that should help. But I'm afraid with the cost of the ambulance staff and things, we're going to have to reevaluate that millage in the 25, 26 year. So that's just a heads up. We'll have the capital behind us, and it'll be basically the operating costs we have to do, and we have to at least set a little money aside each year, in my opinion. Because in 20 years, the cost that our revenue base goes up roughly 3.5% a year. And those costs, I kept it at 5%. You know, all we need is 1 or 2 years at 7 or 10%, in my estimate, in 20 years is meaningless. So,
In 20
Any
years, things could
questions?
change then too, so.
yep, a
The
lot
whole
can
ambulance
change.
authority could be different, so.
I think the key thing will be that the next board will have to look fairly quickly as to whether or not to adjust the millage up to cover the operational costs, to get to maybe a break-even point or something close, so that we do keep a cushion of some level in that fund. That being said,
Can we raise special assessment district any time of the year?
Yep.
No, only at budget time,
That's what I thought.
well, we did in December.
but we're approving it now.
Yeah,
Oh, for this, yeah.
You can only approve it at a budget time. You can't change it midstream because tax collection's happening and your L4029 will never
Yep, I
balance.
understand. So we have to, we can plan it, but
Right.
for the next budget study.
Yeah, it won't take effect. I guess what you're saying is, if we did what we did before, it's still not going to take effect until this coming December, where we would see an increase. So I would like to make the motion to approve the purchase of a new ambulance from Emergency Vehicles Plus for $355,223 with an expected delivery date of July of 2026. Discussion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Now you can.
You're using the old ambulance now for transporting and things
Backup.
like that? Backup. And that's paid for, and it's got, what, 70-some thousand miles on it? Is it expensive to keep that?
You wouldn't
I
want
mean,
three
there's
of them.
fire's paying for it now, but that's what I'm raising. Is that an expensive item to keep
You wouldn't
up?
want
or is
3 of
it-
them.
I mean, it goes to every call, is that correct? The backup ambulance is used by the fire department?
No.
What is didn't you buy the old ambulance? Or you're going to get it?
Using the older ambulance.
Yeah, okay, the older. That's the one I mean, yeah.
So the new one, 2008 was the one that was here before we got the new one last December.
Okay,
The one before 2008 was a 98, and that's what they're using for a rescue, not a rescue vehicle. What the heck is it we call it?
It's a backup.
Your vehicle that we paid.
You know, it can be.
It's used for different things, rehab or whatever.
but that's their expense now, not the
Yep.
ambulance.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
all
we
right.
got our new ambulance, the older one backup, the
I
backup
understand.
then went to them.
I
And then
understand.
our original then became our backup.
So actually, other than repairs and that, there's no outstanding cost with that. Is that correct? Yeah, okay.
Right. It'll be roughly 20 years old by the
Yeah.
time we get to
But it looks brand
the new
new.
one. Well, that's because their guys take care of stuff.
No, because they got a nice paint job.
Anyway,
So
we.
in this calculations, we wouldn't have anything for trade-in values or anything
No,
associated in
no,
here.
So if we could get something for it, that would just be to an advantage. What do we have on it, Ted? 70, 75,000? Because it was the primary ambulance for a long time. All right. So anyway, the motion has been made and seconded. Continued discussion? Anything else? Hearing none. Kathy, would you do a roll call vote?
I will. Bob,
Yes?
Sharon,
They I was gonna say, who made that motion? Bob did.
Mr.
did.
Cook, yeah. Sharon?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes,
Jason?
Yes.
Kathy, yes. Motion is approved, 5-0.
Again, tell me who seconded it?
Merchant.
Okay, thank you.
So when do we order? Right now?
Tomorrow we'll sign the contract. We need a check for $33,555.
Tomorrow, did you
deposit.
say?
Yeah.
Do we wait
Yeah.
to get the invoice?
Well, that's fine. But we got the contract, right? We have a contract that I've got to sign.
Don't we want it in next year's budget?
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to Scott, I said we probably would be approved tonight, but probably do the invoice and check it with them after April 1st.
Right, that's what I,
It really doesn't make any difference,
Yeah,
folks.
it's up to you, Bob, but I mentioned that to him. He was in no hurry.
We have the cash. We can process it. If in fact they don't get us an invoice right away, then we'll wait.
yeah.
But if we get the invoice, I'll sign the contract so we can get that process to them. All right, board. Next item. Again, as per my budget report, I would like the approval to order the second tanker for $281,496 for delivery in July of 2026 with a required deposit of $74,000, which will be paid from existing funds. We will pay off a current tanker whenever it is delivered later this year. We'll use the excess funds in the fire fund to pay that balance. We have built up enough reserves from taxes collected in the 25-26 fiscal year to cover the balance of the second tanker when it's delivered in 2026. I provided another sheet for everyone to see. As you can tell, based on the operations budget, we're in very good shape there, and we can work through our capital as it comes in and borrow from the operations and then resubmit from the capital fund over back into the operations to re-input that money. My whole plan here is to get these capital expenses taken care of. That's why we passed the increased millage. And I think at this particular juncture, it's a solid plan, and these pages are going to be used for us to track our budgets and our revenue and stuff to make sure we stay close to this plan. So I will make the motion. Well, any discussion on the fire?
well, the only, what's in my head is that $1 million pumper that we have to buy at some point out there.
Well, that's why we will not be changing the millage in the fire fund. We will have to, as I said in the budget meeting, the tanker reaches the pumper reaches its 25 years in 2033.
The current one?
The smaller pumper, not your original one. The original, or the number one pumper, is expiring in 2042. But the other pumper is expiring in 2033. They're about 3 years to build, so we're going to have to look at putting that in the budget somewhere in 2028. The cost right now for a pumper is roughly $650,000. And so that's only going to increase until we get to that point, which is why I'm keeping the millage where it is. We don't want to be in a position that we have to go to the bank and borrow money for it. The big one will be the $1.7 million for the 42, which is a long way down the road. Jason's going to have to worry about that. But on that one, they think we could get a pretty good resale on it. So you would be looking to order it somewhere in 2035, 36 timeframe. That would leave about 7 years left on that fire. But again, that's beyond my time.
Because of the demand, is there just no competition? Is that the idea? Among the fire building companies, fire truck building companies?
There aren't as many as there used to be as far as manufacturing. It's just a long lead time for them.
There must be demand as well, though.
A lot of it was due to chassis problems getting in. There's a shortage. It's slowly catching up. It's just like anything else with parts out. There's a shortage on it. And that was the time frame we were working on. We had to change up chassis on the tanker because of that. So it's what it is with anything right now, but it is improving. That's why the time frame is a little bit better. It's been 36 months now, it's down to 24. 24 months on delivering the tanker.
Okay. It is what it is, you said, yeah.
There's no magic wand.
There isn't, and if you remember, we had a fixed contract for our original replacement of the first pumper. They came through and said, we got to increase it $11,000. We said, well, what happened to our fixed contract? In the contract, and they said, well, you can cancel because we can sell it tomorrow. So we're in that cycle, and you're at their mercy, and that's the idea, get into the queue and work your way through it. But at the same time, we're able to accumulate the reserves so we can write that check when necessary.
Okay.
All right, so I will make the motion to approve the purchase of a new fire tanker from T-Line Emergency Vehicles for $281,496 with expected delivery sometime between April and September of 2026 per the presented contract. I will add to that there is a deposit check required of $74,000. Now, the nice thing is, I'll sign that contract tonight as well and get it faxed off to them or sent to them, and we get $1,000 back. Okay? You will have to get a check for $74,000 a month.
Tomorrow.
Motion has been presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Jason. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
She can get the check ready tomorrow, but I gotta get the money in the bank.
So we get $1,000 back, but we gotta write a check for $74,000.
Hey,
I am in the the wrong line of work. I need to start building fire trucks.
there you go.
What a business though. Every 20 years you gotta give them a new one or
25, but you got to order 2022.
get with like 5 or 6 different townships, man.
It's tough. All right, Kathy.
That's
would
why they
you-
they have groups out there instead of individuals.
Kath?
Yep.
Roll call vote, please.
Bob,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes. You heard me.
yes. Alan,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Kathy, yes. That motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, board. Moving on to the next item.
6.
We have new billing rates for our ambulance service. Mike has told me that they're up 5% from prior year. You have a copy of them on your desk. Mike?
Right here,
Are there-
Kathy.
I know, okay, no, I don't know, but
right there.
Acumed?
Yes.
I didn't hear, I wasn't listening.
Any questions for Mike on them? All right. Hearing none. Then,
I do have it. What,
yeah,
what's,
go ahead.
what's the difference? What's ALS, ALS two?
It's a level of care.
How bad you are or something?
Right. So
Okay.
if you get a bad accident, that's a level 2, cardiac, chest pain.
So if you're coming to get me and I'm an ALS and you're taking me to Munson, it's $1,430?
Did you say minimum?
Yeah. And you gotta pay mileage.
You know, in there.
Mike, there was a time we had.
We don't collect all of it, though.
If they deductible, we took care of it. We don't do anything like that. They pay the full shot.
Bottom of it,
I read it wrong. Okay.
you know, so
Okay.
that was actually your recommendation, you know.
I've made a lot of them in my life.
How do you get,
And
how do you get paid from somebody that can't afford that? That don't have insurance and is not very well off?
They make payments,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Payment program.
Okay,
if you can get payments out of them.
okay.
And
You know,
not
again, I think
They
that's.
make payments to you?
To Acumed.
See, that's
Oh.
something, Bob, that I think that our people should know about it in terms of, because they pay the big bill on that, and that, the fact that we take care of deductible, we write it off, and those who can't afford it can be put on a payment plan. I think that's, that's pretty nice.
Yep. All right, is there a motion?
I make the motion to approve the revised ambulance bill rate effective April 1st. Is that contract on here, April? Does it say? I guess it's April 1st, 2024.
That's what we use in the prior years, was always
yeah.
1st of April as a fiscal
Yep.
year. I'll second it. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
And then you'll get this to the Acumed then, or do you want us to?
All right, Kathy, a roll call vote, please.
Yep. Bob,
Yes?
Sharon,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Kathy, yes. Approved 5-0.
Thank you, board. Bless you. Next item is a little bit of a history lesson. If you'll recall, we had some lengthy discussions during the last part of last year regarding road ends and who's taking care of them and do we know where they are? And at that time, we got a quote from Farrier Surveying for $18,000. We decided not to move forward. That was during November, and we said it was winter time and it's not worth doing it. So I had indicated to the public that we would revisit that in the spring. So I'm back here. I've talked to Dean. He said that he's sticking with his 18,000 as long as he doesn't run into anything unusual in his work. So I'm asking that as part of the motion that we approve it for $20,000 and I will monitor that expense with Dean. Any questions on this one?
My only thought is that those markers tend to disappear. They're collectibles, I suspect, but they disappear. And so if there's anything that can be done in the surveying process that would make that more difficult or be able in which we could find markers quickly, that would be helpful and without having to have it resurveyed. But they do disappear, I guarantee you.
He's putting corner pins for them So we'll probably have the stakes, but the corner pins that they sink into the ground. So,
Many people know that.
well,
And-
Alan,
But there's,
you know?
just mention it to them. There's ways.
I know.
I worked with a lot of surveys.
Yep. Any other discussion? So I'll take a motion on this item.
I'll approve that,
All right.
or I'll make the motion, I should say.
All right, the motion to approve Fire Surveying Inc. contract for an estimated $18,000 to survey the township's 18 road ends and not to exceed $20,000 without supervisor approval as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
The pick, Sharon.
Sure.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, a roll call vote, please.
Yep. Bob,
Yes?
Sharon,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes,
Jason.
Yes.
Kathy, yes. This motion is approved, 5-0.
So is this a contract needs to be signed then?
Yes.
And it'll be in file in Kathy's files then?
Yep.
Under contracts, correct?
Correct. Last item is our annual contract for day park cleaning services. Virginia's been working with Enrico. Her price is staying the same, which is $100 per cleaning. The township's responsible for all the supplies. And we don't think at this point,
There's a new one that was put on there.
got it.
Okay.
not to exceed $15,000 for the year. Any questions? If not, then
I'll make the motion.
you'll make the motion or a motion to approve the day park cleaning contract with Ms. Nico Stone for an estimated total not to exceed $15,000 without supervisor approval as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, will take a roll call vote, please.
Yep. Bob,
Yes?
Sharon,
Yes.
Alan,
yes, yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Kathy, yes. 5-0.
Thank you, board. All right, that concludes our new business.
You know, I want to just mention I think that's actually not a good surveying cost, because they're going to have to measure many of these from the center line of a road, and the center line of the road is not in the center. Guarantee you, it's all over the place. So they have to find that first to find out where this was. The last time it was done, Bert Thompson used a wheel from the center line of the road to give us an idea where the ends were, and it just was not accurate. So, good.
I guarantee he's gonna have,
You what?
he's gonna have his hands full on a couple of these road ends.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, he's just doing a survey, right, to show the boundaries of the,
Yeah, he's going to lay it out, and then we will have to try to determine what we're going to do with them. Are we going to clear them out? If we're going to clear them out, we need to probably assign the road ends to maybe the day park committee. I talked to Bill Peterson. That was an idea he suggested, so that then we could put the budget for that into the park and have the park more encompassing. So we'll have to figure that out. Once we get it surveyed, we'll see what's there. Bill said he'd come with me and we'd see what kind of work had to be done for clearing it and what the access to the lakes looked like. And then we'll have to put a plan together sometime in the late spring to see what we do with it.
See whose feathers you ruffle.
Is there
Oh,
a start date?
You're going
and-
to.
That's what I'm
Is there a start date and a proposed end date?
The start date is as soon as
He can.
we sign the contract, and he said he'd get out there and start doing it, so. But an end date is how long it takes to do it.
Just
so.
curious. I didn't know how long it takes to.
Well, there's 18 of them, and I know there's a couple that are over there on the Michigan Bay side that will be quite challenging. All right, board discussion. First item I have is the annual meeting. Given that only 2 people showed up, and one of them was my wife, I'm not sure if the township doesn't care anymore. And we publicized it since December when we put the schedule together for the 2024 board meetings and special meetings. I think at this point, we ought to seriously consider putting a referendum on the August ballot to discontinue the annual meeting. I can see doing the budget meeting. We have to do that statutorily. And we can do that at the same time as the next board meeting. But, as I told an individual, it's a good thing the board isn't on this board. We had enough votes, we all could have made $50,000 next year. Now, we might not have saw.
You missed
seen
your
the-
opportunity, just.
There was quite a, that was supposedly the check, right? In the annual meeting was to ensure the salaries were reviewed. We didn't have anybody here. So I just think at this juncture, we should consider putting a referendum. That's. my 2
There's
cents.
hardly anyone that does it anymore at all, and it's shocking to people when they hear that we still do it.
We can offset that by, during budget time, just, again, invite people to come and talk about
Well, we
things
still
they
haven't.
think they would like to talk about the township that might need some budget considerations and things like that.
We
Well-
still have a budget meeting.
We publish, that's why I do the 3 or 4 budget meetings in January, right? People can pick and choose which one they want to come to if they have an interest in it. We haven't had anybody to a budget meeting since Bob and Jill Spencer came to it. Yes, but they have a vested interest in the budget. So they're kind of captured audience.
You still have to post an annual budget meeting. You don't, and
Yeah.
the only other thing you don't have to have
Right.
is the annual meeting.
Right, so, but my understanding is because the public put it on the board to have it, we have to go back to the public and ask them to discontinue it.
There's a process for that.
Yes, there is.
And a couple of years ago, if you remember, it was in June when you passed the motion to disband it.
Right.
And that's when it was brought to the board's attention. You can't because it was the Martell family that put it on back in the 60, no, it was in the
Doesn't matter.
nine-
It's a long time ago.
96 or something like that, 1996.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, so
If the board,
The Martell
this
cartel.
is a discussion. If the
Yep.
board is comfortable, I will get the same item ready and we'll put it on for the August and see if the public will allow us to discontinue that.
There's something, I don't remember it. There's something about putting it on the ballot. There's something,
Well-
like, do you need a petition or something? I don't know. I don't remember.
No.
there's a
we have to
petition to
do it-
put it on, but it's the board can take it off with the vote of the people.
Say that once more,
The
Sharon.
petition is to put it on, but it's the vote of the board to put it referendum to the public to vote on it.
But a petition has to be collected though first, don't they? A certain number?
That's to put it back on because it was taken
Oh,
off.
to put it back on if it was taken off. Okay. Okay.
Because it was off and then it came back on.
So the public did a petition drive to make it part of the business of the township to have that annual meeting. As a board, we can vote that referendum and then get it on the ballot. And our idea is to go out and advertise the fact that it needs to be discontinued.
Well, in the past, we used to hear from people, they talked about ambulance and things like that and that kind of coverage. We heard
You can
things on
still have
roads.
that, but
No, that's what I'm saying. And that's
the
why.
annual meeting is,
But
the annual
Sharon, listen
meeting,
to me. That's why the idea was to continue it, because we did have conversation. People were here and they listened to the report that we would give. They also had
We can still
concerns for
do
us to
that.
consider. Oh, I know that, but that's why it had some use.
well,
And
that's,
rest.
we can still do
Ellen's-
that.
Yeah,
But the only
Ellen is
reason
not-
for the annual meeting was for the salary resolutions.
sure. Alan's not disagreeing with it. He's just given a little bit of a history, and that's fine. So at this point, I will put together a referendum for the board's consideration at the April meeting. And I think that will give us enough time to get it in for the August elections for the primary.
And you still have the history from when it was put on you.
I still have that.
Okay.
I still have those documents. So that's the first one. I'm sorry?
I said, woo-hoo, one less meeting.
You still have to have a budget meeting. You just can't include that other.
Sharon, we got it. All right.
Bob, our meeting in April will be the 16th.
Yeah.
And I was wondering with candidate petitions have to be in on the 23rd, a week later. All that sounds to me like timing to the August primary. So you might want to check your dates here carefully.
Well,
Yeah.
Kathy.
It's
Kathy's
close.
already, yeah, it is. I understand. But that's why I wanted to discuss it with the board so that I can get moving on it. And if we have to, we can call a special meeting. There's nothing against doing that.
Is your goal to have it on the August ballot
Yeah.
rather than November?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Win with it.
I didn't get there yet.
Because that would be the ballot that would have the most voters around. Of course, absentee ballots, now there's a lot of people doing that. Kathy will worry about it later.
I won't.
Right.
The next item is election procedures. Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong. We spent over $10,000 on this 9-day election. 100%
But we're being reimbursed.
supposed to be reimbursed for, what are you shaking your head no?
Percentage of that.
What percent?
I think it's a minimum wage minimum wage. Or not a minimum wage, but a wage per hour that they're paying. Correct, Kathy?
They have an hourly rate that they will pay, which was
$15.
17?
15.
15.
And our rate was what?
Our rate is 17, that's where the 17, and 22 for chair people.
So we lost out on.
So we don't want to say
$2,000.
100%. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
I will admit that not knowing what to expect from a 9-day election and how many people were going to come out for that we had more workers than we needed to have. But the positive side of that is that I now have multiple workers who can do multiple jobs, whereas I only had Brian Vay was really the only one that knew how to do the poll book, positive feedback. And the fact in the back of my mind was that there's going to be reimbursement. And if it's only for this one, then it's only for this one. But we have time now to, excuse me, to think about how to do the next one. And there's a push to do combined precincts.
Well, that's what he's going to talk about.
So,
Well,
which is
that's-
what you want to talk about, yeah.
But, yeah,
Go ahead.
the board will have to act on it, but if we want to go in with other townships, then we'll have that opportunity. There's discussions going around between various clerks, and I have indicated we'd be interested in that to see what the mechanism is and what we have to do to be involved. I offered our building as something central between Elk Rapids and Bank and Central Lake, but the discussions are just starting, so I just want to advise the board that we're going to be checking into this, see if we can't reduce our costs as well as the other townships. Last item, individual came to me, wondering if we would or could improve the 407 property and turn it into a kayak launching, potential launch site. Now, I went down there and there's the big drainage thing kind of in the middle of the parking area because at that time you were trying to fix the erosion problem that was running down the north side. And so the question becomes, is there a way that we could maybe move that and then have 4 or 5 parking spots there for kayaks? Now, we're going to have the same difficulty in that it's a concrete launch site and then it's a semi-sandy beach. So we would have to set some money aside for capital improvements to fix that up. But I'm just bringing it to the board's attention for your thoughts.
And you said 401, that's,
407.
I don't even know where it's
is
at.
that the, what, the,
It's one off
Down-
of Northwest Torch
Torch
Lake
Lake
Drive.
Drive.
You'll drive right by it if you're not looking.
Yeah,
Where the cement boat ramp is,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
kind of across Mogami,
Yes.
Yes,
right next to,
Kevin,
Woodward's.
Kevin's. Mhm.
Kevin Woodward's place, that's right.
Okay.
There's a big culvert that comes across the road there on the house to the north, right in their property, and it flooded all the way through there. So we had to put that drain in there, and then that drain goes out to Torch Lake, and we were able to do that because it was surface water. And if you don't do that, you flood a lot over there. We're right on our property line there with that drainage.
How far down is that? I mean, I'm trying to, when I look at it, it's 50-foot width. So how many cars can we get in there before you start running over the top of that thing?
You're on the, so anything from the, oh, I see what you're asking, to the lake or before the culvert, before the draining hole?
Well, since we can't move the culvert any further over, because you said it's on the property line, so that, how much space do we have for cars to be able to go drive down, park, and then back and drive back out?
If you go to the beach and look where it comes out in the water and eyeball it to that drain, you get an idea of the angle it's on.
So
It
it's
isn't
on
right,
an angle.
yeah, it isn't right on the line. And we couldn't I think there's a sign there, no parking on there
Right.
because it would crush the drain. I don't know where, you can't park on the road, there's no
Right.
shoulder up on that road to park. I don't know, I don't know how it'll go. I don't know. A lot of the locals there use it. They put their boat in and that's it for the Torch Lake.
Yeah.
And,
Well, anyway, it was something was brought up. I mean, we'd have to get an engineer out there to see if there was something we could do or reinforce the culvert so that then if it got driven on, it wouldn't crush it. I don't know. I'm a finance guy, not an engineer. So is it worth something to do? You've had more to do with 407. 'Cause I
Well,
was
it's a
on
great place for them to have safe harbor. That's a good spot.
Yeah.
But there's just no room. You
Yeah.
can't even, you barely can turn your boat and trailer around to get it down.
Not room for two. It's either it's a boat ramp or it's a kayak launch.
Yeah.
Either, you gotta pick one.
Um,
Have we given up any thought of trying to find a way at the park?
Well, actually, the issue at the park is that the swim area, you can't have anything. You can't launch a boat in the swim area, and the swim area goes from the south side of the wharf all the way to the property line.
Can that be reduced?
Well, you can reduce, you're not going to reduce the swimming area. I mean, at the day park meeting, everybody felt that at this point, it's not that big to begin with. And if we take it over roughly to where the pump's going for the irrigation system, there's really just not that much space. And the day park committee said there would be no kayak launching at all at that until they take another look at it. But the ordinance states that the swimming area is a defined area, and we'd have to change the ordinance for that.
Right.
we responded to that because the park at Charlevoix, it's not the one in town, but it's the one past the Narrows that Charlevoix has. They had a youngster hit by a canoe they took their canoe right through the swimming area and hit this youngster, and they had to go after this youngster. I mean, he got knocked down and went into the water. So it was, so you can't have any type of non-motorized vehicle with the swimmers. And this was just a little person. I think it was a boy, a little guy.
And, I think the pushback that I gave is the fact that as you're launching on that side, we get a predominantly southern wind, and that's going to take your paddle boards, if it's a stiff day, it's going to take it into the swim area. But we don't have to worry about it at this point. I think the day park committee is going to work on the solution, but I don't know if there's anything in the south end of the township that, I don't think we have a road in far enough down there that we can do anything with. Milton, I guess, has a launch. That would be the next closest for the south end, and the north end is the DNR site.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
407 is emergency exit for them, so.
Palantrum,
mhm,
right.
Palantrum.
All right, I just want to bring these things to the board's
Have you guys
attention.
ever used 407 for any launching? Did you? Well, you seldom, yeah, okay.
That had to be a tight turn for you guys. You just backed
No,
it
you
down.
can't. You can't. Yeah, you got to back down.
All right. So that completes our items. Citizen comment. Do we have any? Hearing none, then board comments. Ellen, can I start with you?
I have none.
All right, Sharon?
I'd like to look at a date. We're going to be needing to do a special board meeting for budget amendments, and perhaps maybe include this discussion we just had on elections could be added to that.
Okay.
And then there was a third thing. Kathy mentioned one. Can't think of it now. Anyway.
Yeah, Sharon's been busy, and she's pulling together the amendments for the budget. So what's your timetable, Sharon?
Oh, I'm looking at my calendar. Well, we need to, today's the 19th, so we got to get it done before the fiscal year end, which is by Friday, next Friday, week from Friday. So what's a good day for anybody?
You're kind of in the middle of seasons. You haven't started cutting grass yet.
Just no Wednesdays, please. And you can't do it Monday because I got a plan.
And we really don't want
I
to do it.
can't wait for this month to be over.
We don't want to do it on Friday, the 29th. That's Good Friday, so,
No.
26th, week from tonight. Or we don't have to do it in the evening. We can do it whatever time.
Okay.
That's.
I don't care,
Tuesday.
just get it over with. It's
So-
not gonna last that long, is it?
So could we do a 3 o'clock? Anybody opposed to a 3 o'clock meeting?
It's okay.
Yeah, I am, because I'm gonna be back to work. I'd rather it be at least 5. Please.
Okay, well, I'll have to change that because I got a Petoskey Stone Festival
Oh,
meeting at 5 o'clock. What about 4 o'clock? Is that still too early?
no, I'll compromise with you. I'll make it work. I'll
You're a
make it work.
good guy tonight.
I mean,
Jason.
I'll put all the, I couldn't have gotten them done now because all the addendums and the late checks and all the payroll and everything that happened. I needed time to get it together,
All
so
right, so the 26th, 26th at, what time, 4?
4 o'clock,
4 PM.
Special meeting.
special board meeting we'll figure out the budget amendments, discussion on the contract, perhaps of a merging election site. And there was a third thing, Kathy, what was
Well-
that? I don't remember.
I said, the annual meeting, I could have a referendum drafted by that time. All right. So we'll put 3 items on there, the referendum for the annual meeting. That takes care of that issue on the timing. We have the amendments, and we'll see if we have anything from the elections. I will put the meeting notice and agenda together, and I'll have those 3 items. We won't be able to add anything else unless all the board members are there.
Right.
All right. Kathy,
Yeah,
board comment?
I don't know if I can do this or not. It snuck up on me that we need to approve the election workers for the May election. So I have my normal run-of-the-mill list that May, we have a school election in May. And
Central Lake?
Central Lake.
it's the ISD, right?
That's SRM,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are
SRM.
they coming for another, the bond?
Round 2, eh?
Okay.
So I have a list of workers. I have 1, 2, 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats. There's nobody new. I got Bob Hawkins, Babs, Virginia Hawkins, Victoria Bishop, Carol Lays, and Veronica Welter.
You'll still have to call meeting.
We don't do it at this meeting, Kathy.
Well, that's why I said I'm not sure I can do it. Can I
No.
not can do it?
No,
Okay.
you cannot do it,
Well, we can't do it after because it hasn't been noticed, so.
right?
Can you do it for next week, Kathy?
I'll do it whenever that next special meeting is.
Yeah, okay. Can you get it noticed and everything?
The 26th is your special meeting?
Yep,
Okay.
4 o'clock.
So I can do it before that meeting or after that meeting?
Before,
Right,
because I have a
it's just-
Zoom meeting.
It's just the 3 of us. It's not a board.
Right, but I usually have it with the board meeting so that you
Oh.
will be there and,
Do it before the meeting.
okay, so 3:45.
That's fine.
Then you'll have to have those minutes done from the last time too, then. So we can
No,
look at those.
oh, I see. You're the election commission
Right,
group. Okay,
right.
I know. what you
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean.
you're not.
I'm not
you don't have to
involved.
worry. No.
Okay.
All right, Jason?
How many new planning commission members do we have?
We have 2.
So tomorrow's big meeting, we are going in with 2 brand-new planning commission members?
Well, the lawyer has been to 1 meeting.
Okay.
So it's just a new, it's Lori that is new.
Okay.
But that's fine. I mean, it's, everybody has a first meeting. So it is what it is. Now, it will be interesting. Well, that's a different discussion.
Right.
Alan passed, Kathy, you, and I'm all set. I have nothing, so I'll make the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
8:25.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Board, thank you very much.
8:25. We get a lot of 8:25s in here.
Not bad for all the business we had to conduct today.